Good evening and welcome to Ignite News on 6 at 6. It's Monday, February 2nd, 2026. I'm Rihanna Nikram. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. President Irfan Ali delivers a call to action in Belize. An old hydropower project is back on the table as Guyana invests billions to power its future. Guyana's prawn industry is creating new opportunities at home and abroad. And from a small village to the world stage, one Guyanese woman is making her mark. President Irfan Ali has called on Caribbean states to act collectively to protect their sovereignty, monetize their environmental assets, and strengthen food and energy security, as he addressed the Belize Parliament during an official state visit. Speaking to lawmakers in Belmopan, the Guyanese head of state said Belize and Guyana, as small states rich in forests, biodiversity, and natural resources, must ensure the global value of those assets translates into tangible benefits for their people.
These natural endowments carry global responsibilities. Belize and Guyana serves as careful custodians of environmental heritage, whose preservation is vital not only to our national development, but also to regional and global ecological balance. And that is why we have a joint responsibility to monetize this most important global asset, and the world in turn has a responsibility to ensure that economic value of these assets are passed on to the peoples of our.
President Ali stressed that climate action must move beyond appeals for sympathy, arguing instead for market-based solutions, including carbon credits and biodiversity financing, to reward countries that preserve ecosystems critical to global climate stability. He also warned that climate change, food insecurity, and volatile global markets pose threats to small states, making regional cooperation essential. Turning to agriculture, Ali said Guyana and Belize must play a leading role in ensuring Caribbean food security, while pushing back against trade barriers that disadvantage regional farmers.
Belize and Guyana must lead in the food security of this region. And when we make this investment, human, financial, and technological investment, the region must in turn have a fair trade system in which our produce and production is not subjected to the bureaucracy of the system, or is not subjected to artificial barriers of trade that affect this region. We must together champion the cause of removing the barriers to trade, especially in food.
The president reaffirmed both countries' commitment to peaceful dispute resolution, international law, and democratic governance, noting that cooperation strengthens rather than weakens national sovereignty. He closed by urging deeper private sector partnerships between Guyana and Belize, promising aligned governments and a shared vision for regional prosperity. Banks IH Holdings Inc. has indicated it will appeal a High Court ruling that blocked shareholders from voting on a proposed cap of 15% ownership at the company's annual general meeting. The dispute centers on a proposed amendment to the company's bylaws, which would limit any single shareholder to holding no more than 15% of issued capital. Last week, a group calling itself Concerned Shareholders warned via public advertisement that the amendment could disenfranchise investors and consolidate control among insiders. Banks IH responded, calling the claims false and misleading. However, on Friday, Justice Sandil Kisoon blocked the vote following urgent applications filed by Guyana America's Merchant Bank Inc. and Bihari Stockbrokers Limited, both shareholders in Banks IH Holdings Inc. The company said it intends to challenge the injunction in the full court, arguing that the original ruling relied on documents that do not exist within its legal framework, and it was not given adequate opportunity to respond. Prime Minister Brigadier retired Mark Phillips recently disclosed that the government remains keen on the development of the Amaila Falls hydropower project. The project, which is expected to add 165 megawatts of electricity to the national grid, is currently out for expression of interest. Phillips explained that his office has been allocated $111.4 billion in 2026 to strengthen its capacity to deliver through its agencies, supporting advancements in energy, information and communication technology, digital transformation, telecommunications, disaster preparedness, and public communications.
We are also building out and modernizing our transmission and distribution system. So that will lead to not only reliable electricity, but stable electricity being supplied to homes, to business enterprises.
Some $13.7 billion has been earmarked for the energy sector, including $10.7 billion to bring the 300 megawatts combined cycle gas turbine power plant, an integrated natural gas liquids facility, GTA Phase 1 online by the end of 2026. Phil said the budget will also support digital transformation by expanding broadband connectivity, advancing digital services, and cybersecurity initiatives, facilitating the national EID program, and supporting the expansion of ICT hubs and training nationwide.
The Industry and Innovation Unit under the Office of the Prime Minister, they've already trained some 6,000 Guyanese throughout the length and breadth of Guyana. And in this year, the plan is to have another 8,000 Guyanese being trained through their activities. And they have a number of training sessions which will be delivered from the basic to the advanced level for the people of Guyana, both on the coastland and the hinterland, for public servants.
Phillips also highlighted a $6 billion national renewable energy allocation, which he said forms part of the overall investment and is expected to support the expansion of solar farms and the addition of 21 new solar mini-grids. Guyana's aviation sector is taking off with rapid growth in travel capacity, infrastructure upgrades, and expanded training programs, preparing the next generation of aviation professionals. Captain Egbert Field, Director General of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, says these developments mark unprecedented progress for the industry.
These are thrilling times for aviation. Thrilling times because of the exponential growth that is being experienced. This includes increased airline activity coming to Guyana, increase in tourism, the confidence of the operators in importing new aircraft, increasing their fleet, adding more personnel to their operation. This is certainly unprecedented.
Speaking specifically on Guyana's capacity, Phil recognized the recently launched International Civil Aviation Organization Next Generation of Aviation Professionals Plus program as essential for sustaining the sector in the long term.
The NGAP program, which will have the intake of between 12 years and 18-year-old youths, targeted them for the industry. This will allow the locals, boys and girls, to be exposed to training that is equal or even above that of the international schools.
He also acknowledged the creation of the Ministry of Public Utilities and Aviation, led by Minister Deodat Indar, as a key step in securing the sector's future. When returned, Guyana expanded its prawn industry for export growth. The Press Association raising concerns over access to parliamentary debates. A new investment continues to strengthen the Care economy.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95 to the fuel it up and drive, super 95 to the protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyoil's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyoil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive!
Welcome back. A new project at Underwracked is significantly impacting aquaculture in Guyana. Guyana is charting a path toward a sustainable and profitable aquaculture sector, with the Underwracked Prawns project leading the way. The initiative is increasing productivity and opening new opportunities for farmer-led growth, while positioning the country to meet growing seafood demand across CARICOM. During a recent visit to Underwracked West Coast Berbice, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa highlighted the venture's potential, noting that a single pond can generate around $60 million annually.
And when you take off expenses and so you run you about just about $15 million, the rest will be profit. So this here is a model. This project here is a model project for us, as the President wants us to show that other Guyanese must get involved. We want to be a main producer of prawns, and as immediately out there, you see a private investor now is developing another 20 acres.
Private investors are already expanding the project, developing an additional 20 acres of ponds, with several others expressing interest. Exports are also growing. Underwracked prawns now reach Caribbean markets, including Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago. showcasing Ghana's rising presence in regional seafood trade.
And by the mid-April, we will be producing our own larvae. So we will produce our own larvae, not only for this pond here, but other ponds that will be built across the country.
By mid-year, production is expected to grow further with 10 new ponds, reinforcing Ghana's aquaculture ambitions. The Ghana Press Association (GPA) has raised concerns over new restrictions on media coverage of the ongoing budget debates in the National Assembly. Only 5 reporters are now allowed into the dome of the Arthur Chang Conference Center, where the assembly is convened, down from up to 17 in previous years, and all must submit identification before gaining access. They describe this reduction as unjustified, particularly in a larger parliamentary space. The association also criticized the lack of a direct camera feed, noting that media houses must rely on a streaming link from the Department of Public Information. The GPA says the link is unreliable, with frequent audio breaks, and cannot replace continuous, unfiltered access to proceedings. In a statement, the GPA called the measures a direct attack on freedom of the press and a threat to transparency and accountability. It urged Speaker Manzoor Nadir to review the restrictions and restore full press access, highlighting the need for open and accessible parliamentary coverage to ensure public trust. Significant potential exists for development and expansion of the local care economy as the government delivers on comprehensive programs that provide caregivers with necessary training, mentorship, and business financing. Human Services and Social Security Minister Dr. Vidya Prasad says that already 5,000 women have been trained in the area of early child care and another 2,000 in the area of elderly care. 100 of those women have received financing for startups, while 10 have seen investment to move their care centers to excellence.
With the injection of $100 million into the Guyana Development Bank, and then saying very clearly to those persons who are looking to get into any form of entrepreneurship, look, you can access $3 million. There's no interest, there's no collateral. That's removing a barrier. And then saying to them further, if you want to expand, maybe you would have started a micro or small enterprise. You can get up to $7 million with an agreement with the banks. And here again, the interest is lower.
The minister added that the direct injection of $1.5 billion into the care economy is another means of seriously growing the sector.
With the injection of $100 million into the Guyana Development Bank, and then saying very clearly to those persons who are looking to get into any form of entrepreneurship, look, you can access $3 million. There's no interest, there's no collateral. That's removing a barrier. And then saying to them further, if you want to expand, maybe you would have started a micro or small enterprise. You can get up to $7 million with an agreement with the banks. And here again, the interest is lower.
The minister emphasized that this kind of support ties in with other programs, such as a payment for child care for the first 3 months for parents who work. She said it also closes the gender gap by creating more female business owners and allowing women once homebound to provide care to now enter the world of work. A Guyanese woman from a small community in Region 2 is now being recognized on an international literary stage. 35-year-old Kamlawati Prasad, originally from Perseverance, Essequibo Coast, has become the first female author from Guyana to receive an Asia Book of Records certificate after participating in a historic publishing initiative in India. Prasad, who has been living in Delhi since 2019, was among 774 authors who published ebooks in a single day under India's Lihiga India mission, a feat that earned global recognition and certification from the Asia Book of Records. But for Prasad, the milestone is deeply personal. Drawing from a spiritual grounding developed in her village Mandir back home, she turned to yoga, self-inquiry, and healing practices during a difficult period abroad, a journey that later inspired her book, She Who Rose Again, The Spiritual Path of Feminine Awakening.
And I'm proud to be launching my book today, She Who Rose Again. I have never thought of becoming an author, and it was never in my vision.
Her book speaks directly to women navigating loss, silence, and survival, encouraging healing and self-worth rather than quick fixes. She says the recognition goes beyond personal achievement.
I am proud to be launching this today. I'm putting my country, Guyana, from South America, on the map.
Prasad is also an internationally accredited yoga instructor with Yoga Alliance USA and runs Yoga Slim with Kamla, helping women worldwide transform their physical and mental well-being through yoga and Ayurveda. When we come back, Guyana opens the Nations Cup with a commanding win. India eyes a historic T20 World Cup double, and Sunderland secures a big money move in the transfer market. Stay with us.
Your business is built on hard work, vision, and the drive to succeed. At GBTI, we understand what it takes to grow. That's why we offer Grow, a small business service designed to help your business expand, adapt, and reach its full potential. From new opportunities to new milestones, we're here to support you every step of the way. Grow from GBTI. Progress starts here.
You're watching Night News on 6 at 6. Thanks for staying with us. We begin our sports segment with a look at the performance of Ghana's men's national basketball team in their Nations Cup campaign. The team sent a strong early message at the Nations Cup, opening their campaign with an emphatic 65-51 victory over French Guyana in Paramaribo, Suriname. The win was a statement performance coming with added pressure after Suriname had already beaten French Guyana, leaving Ghana needing a convincing result to stay firmly in contention and to erase memories of last year's second-place finish behind Suriname. Ghana rose to the moment, controlling the tempo and outworking their opponents at both ends of the court. Travis Belgrave led the scoring for Ghana with 10 points, while Akil Hughes added 9, as the team's balanced attack proved too much to handle. French Guyana's Fedez Zikian topped all scorers with 14 points, but his effort was not enough to prevent his team from finishing the tournament without a win. Attention now turns to regional competition, while the men preparing for the Caribbean Championship, while Ghana's women's national team gears up for the Central Basket Tournament later this year. India entered the T20 World Cup as overwhelming favorites, aiming to achieve what no team has before: defend their title and win at home. According to ESPN Cricinfo, the current squad, stronger than the unbeaten team that triumphed in the USA and West Indies 2 years ago, boasts remarkable depth and talent, with a win-loss ratio of 6.5 since the last World Cup. Additions like Abhishek Sharma, Tilak Varma, Varun Chakrabarti, and Harshit Rana enhance both firepower and strategic flexibility, leaving stars such as Shreyas Iyer, Shubman Gill, and Yashasvi Jaiswal on the sidelines. Yet, T20 cricket is notoriously unpredictable, and India faced a daunting group of death in the Super 8s, requiring victories over at least 2 of Australia, South Africa, or West Indies in 3 consecutive games across different venues, followed by 2 knockout wins. A single off day for key players or losing the toss could tilt the balance, keeping opponents hopeful of an upset. Sunderland have agreed a deal worth up to £17.5 million to sign Ecuadorian winger Nilson Angolo from Anderlecht. The agreement includes a $15 million transfer fee plus $2.5 million in add-ons for the 22-year-old, who recently extended his contract with Anderlecht in September 2025. Angulo joined Anderlecht in 2022 and is now departing Belgium after 3.5 years, having contributed 15 goals and assists across 30 appearances this season. The winger made his senior international debut for Ecuador in October 2021 in a friendly against Mexico, highlighting his growing profile on the international stage. In related transfer news, Brighton winger Simon Andingra is set to move to AS Monaco on loan, with the French club holding an option to make the deal permanent. Both moves reflect the continued reshaping of squads across Europe, as clubs balance talent development with strategic transfers to strengthen their lineups for the upcoming season. Still ahead, a closer look at the chikungunya outbreak in Suriname, President Trump's new trade deal with India, and the latest shakeup in the global obesity drug market.
Guyana, the wait is over. Saturday, 28th March 2026, the Guyana National Stadium is about to light up with the biggest names in the chutney soca world. Young Breda, Ravi B, K.I., Rick Ram from Holland, Sandesh and Shivam Rajaram from Canada, Omish from Guyana, Vikadi Singh, 8 big bands from around the world, over 50 artists, all clashing on one night. Feel the power of the Firefest production team. Get ready for Clash of the Titans.
Welcome back. Travel to Suriname remains unrestricted amidst an outbreak of disease. The country is keeping its borders open despite a growing chikungunya outbreak that has so far sickened 134 people and claimed 1 life, according to health authorities. According to the Suriname Times, official city decision is guided by international health rules, which restrict travel measures to situations where there's a clear cross-border risk. Under the international health regulations, travel restrictions are generally reserved for diseases that spread directly from person to person, a category chikungunya does not fall under. Because the virus is already circulating within Suriname, health authorities say closing borders will have little impact on slowing infections. Instead, they emphasize surveillance, public awareness, and mosquito control measures as key strategies for managing the outbreak. Critics, however, warn that the absence of targeted measures could create confusion or inconvenience for travelers. Suriname experiences heavy travel both regionally and internally, with frequent same-day movement between Paramaribo and Cayenne, or between interior districts such as Sipaliwini and the capital. Health officials urge residents and visitors alike to take personal precautions, including mosquito protection, to reduce the risk of infection. In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday announced a new trade deal with India, saying Washington will reduce tariffs on Indian goods from 25% to 18%, following a call with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Trump said the agreement includes a commitment by India to stop buying Russian oil and instead increase energy purchases from the United States and potentially Venezuela, a move he framed as part of efforts to weaken Russia's economy amid the war in Ukraine. India has been one of the world's largest buyers of discounted Russian crude, importing over 1 million barrels per day to meet energy needs. Analysts warn replacing those supplies will not be easy, citing infrastructure and supply challenges. According to Trump, Modi has also agreed to buy more than $500 billion worth of U.S. goods, including energy, technology, agriculture, and other products. India is also expected to reduce its own tariffs and non-tariff barriers on American goods. While India is not among America's largest trading partners, the tariff cut could still have a significant impact. The U.S. imported $95.5 billion in goods from India last year, including electronics, pharmaceuticals, apparel, and chemicals, while exporting oil, gas, and aircraft. U.S. companies such as Microsoft, Google, JP Morgan Chase, and American Express have also expanded operations in India, deepening economic ties beyond trade alone. Finally, this evening, the once sky-high expectations for the global obesity drug market are being sharply revised, as falling U.S. prices and intensifying competition cool investor enthusiasm. For years, Wall Street projected blockbuster GLP-1 drugs such as Novo Nordisk Ozempic and Wegovy and Eli Lilly's Zepbound could drive a market worth as much as $150 billion within a decade. Today, analysts say that target is slipping, with forecasts for 2030 now closer to $100 billion. Prices for leading treatments have dropped dramatically, from around $1,000 a month to as low as $149 online, amid political pressure and expanded direct-to-consumer sales. At the same time, new weight loss pills, generic versions of Ozempic, and upcoming oral alternatives to injectable drugs like Wegovy and Zepbound are reshaping the market. Major banks warn that without a significant jump in patient numbers, the most bullish projections may not hold. With earnings due this week, investors are watching closely to see whether volume growth can offset shrinking margins. And that's all for this edition of Ignite News on 6 at 6. For more stories, visit ignitenews.com or follow us on social media. Thanks for watching. I'm Rihanna Nakram. See you tomorrow for more Ignite News.